Good morning, this is your Stats Sensei, Mr. Spensei, and this is an assignment on a two sample T, and we're going to run a two sample T interval. This is the same as what we used in the hypothesis test in the previous video, so it's going to be very similar. So in a large corporation, an HR department conducts an investigation into whether or not gender affects salary. Employees who perform the same job with similar experiences levels are being compared to determine if there's a significant difference in their average salaries. Concerns have been raised about potential gender gap, with many claiming that male employees are compensated more than females. The samples consist of 65 male employees and 57 females, taken from a population of more than 5,000 males and more than 4,500 females. Employees are in similar roles, and their salaries are collected and compared to assess whether a significant difference in pay exists between the genders. All right, so in this case, we're not going to conduct a hypothesis test. We're going to create a 94% confidence interval. We'll start off by saying, hey, we have a bunch of this information already written down. It's given to us in the table, so we're going to record it from the table. From the table, we know that the males are being paid 45,000 with a standard deviation of 5,200, and it's set up above that we sampled 65. The females are being paid 42,500 on average with a standard deviation of 4,800, and we surveyed 57 of them, or they're randomly selected 57 of them. Well, our formula for a two sample hypothesis test for a two sample T interval is X bar 1, sample mean 1, or 45,000, minus sample mean 2, 42,500, plus or minus T star, and it's going to be the standard deviation of the males over the sample size of the males, and then the standard deviation of females squared divided by the sample size of the females. All right, so that's our formula. It says calculate T star. Well, to do that, I'm going to have to do a couple things. I'm going to go ahead and run this test. I'm going to go stat test, and I'm going to drop down to two sample T interval, which is at 0. I'm going to go ahead and put my data in. Males is 4,500 or 45,000. Standard deviation of 52,000, 65 males. 42,500, 48,000, 57, and I'm going to run a 0.9 4 confidence interval. I'm going to go ahead and calculate my interval. We'll come back to this in a moment, but I want this because I need my degrees of freedom. So my degrees of freedom happen to be 119.67. All right, and that's the reason I did that, is I need my degrees of freedom. So we're going to calculate T star. We're going to go second vars, inverse T, 1 minus, parenthesis, parenthesis 1 minus 0.94, close parenthesis, degrees of freedom, divided by 2. And the degrees of freedom happen to be 119.67. And we got that from running the test. And we end up getting a T star of 1.898. Please go ahead and make that positive. All right? All right. We're going to be centered on X bar 1 minus X bar 2, which is 45,000 minus 42,500, which gives us 2,500. All I did was subtract the two X bars, 45,000 minus the 42,500. And I said, oh, we're centered at 2,500. Okay. All right. This is a two sample T interval for means. And I'm going to run that test one more time. Two sample T interval. There it is. We already had that information in there. And we end up with a lower bound of $780 to $4,219. All right. So this is my lower bound and this is my upper bound. So what we're saying is males maybe getting paid as much as $780, as low as $780 more, to as much as $4,200 more than females. So somewhere in between there is where we're saying, hey, males are getting paid that much more than females. All right. We defined the parameters on the previous page, so we're not doing it again. We did the conditions on the previous page, so we're not going to do that again. So we are 94% confident the true population difference of the means. Please make sure that it's difference of the means. All right. When we're working with a two sample, we're talking about difference of the means. Salary for male employees minus salary for females. You have to say the order you subtracted lies within our interval here. All right. So we're confident that the true population difference in male salary minus female salary lies in that interval. And in repeated sampling, we expect this method to capture the true population difference of mean salary for male employees minus females. So male always have to say the order. And we expect to capture it 94% of the time. All right. So I hope that helps. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.